I'll call this meeting to order of the Brawley City Council at 6 p.m. on February the 15th, 2022. I'll call to order and roll call, please.
The meeting will reflect all council members present.
Okay, thank you. Invocation, Luke, can we ask you to do that?
Let's pray. Almighty God, gracious Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you again tonight for this gathering here and the opportunity to guide our city. We ask that you would give us wisdom from above, that we would make the right decisions to progress our town. We thank you for your hand of protection upon us. We thank you for all the employees and staff that work for the city of Brawley that do their best to make this a great city to live in. And we ask that you would just continue to protect us. We ask especially for those that are ill, that are sick with COVID and other diseases, Lord God, that you would heal their bodies, heal their minds, bring them back, help them recover. Be with us tonight, I ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. George, could you please?
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I need an approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Luke seconds. Any discussion at all? No? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Agenda approved. Okay. Item 2 on our agenda is public appearances and comments, not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you if you come to the microphone. I don't think we have very many people in the audience, but please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. And direct your questions and comments to the city council. And I think we're on the Zoom meeting, so is there anything for public appearances?
All right, Eric Grace.
Eric.
Even though you took all the fun, I can't slander you.
No, you can't do that. I got a mallet.
No, just here, I'll be here for something else, but since it's public comment, something I've been wanting to come, but I've been pretty busy with other issues. But now that we have passed the tax measure, right? You passed in November, congratulations. Something we have supported, I have supported. People tell me, Eric, it's going to impact poor people. I tell them, well, poor people deserve services also. And they'll be the most impacted if we don't give them services. So that was our rationale, not now, but as many of you know, many times that we run this campaign. So we don't have to do it anymore, right? So that's great. But I think there was also a promise made that this council was going to go after more business development, tax base, and work on it together as a community. I know Mr. Nava had previously brought forth a economic task force committee from the public, including, city employees and whoever else wanted to be on it. I think now's the time to take advantage of that and move that forward, because you don't have to worry about the tax being passed in the next 3 years or 4 years again. This is the time to prove to the community also that we voted for it in good faith, that you're going to move forward and work harder on improving, because I know for a fact it's only a bare minimum of services we're receiving, even with that tax that we pass. Unlike others, we don't have a huge tax base to live off, or even add a sales tax to. So there's other things we need to do. We need to build up that sales tax. There's developments that can come here. There's areas of development that we're neglecting that could be hot spots. People have talked to us about it. So we know there's interest. So I hope that's brought back. We can all work on this together and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments from the audience? I think, Chief, you were slated to come. Huh? Any online? No?
No.
Okay, come on up, Chief.
No.
Go ahead.
You can remove your mask.
Thank you, appreciate
It
that.
doesn't get old. I mean, it's like,
Yes, I guess it doesn't get, I can't stop laughing now. Well,
Yeah,
good
you're right,
evening,
you're so
Mayor,
funny.
members of the council, city manager, and staff. So I appreciate this opportunity to do this presentation here. So today, I'm bringing to you a new platform that the police department has begun to use. And it's actually been rather successful since we launched it. It's only been a few days since we launched it, but it's doing really good. Based on our ability to track it, we've been seeing good response from the community. So what we're talking about here is Neighbors. This is the platform that we're using, and what it is, it serves as a virtual neighborhood watch. Let me see if I can click on the next one here. Okay, so let's talk about what it does. So it serves as a virtual neighborhood watch program. And you're going to see in a minute what I'm talking about. So your standard neighborhood watch, of course, is you get people united in a community, a block or something like that, and that's your standard one. So this works under the same premise, but the way we do it here is pretty much we do it virtually. So you really get a bigger community involved. What it does, it allows the police department to view and respond to residents' videos, and provide updates and resolutions to some of the issues they have. It also allows the PE to post safety tips and announcements, as you're going to see here in a little bit, and it allows the PE to request help for any active investigations that we may have. And what I really like about the system, that it's open to everybody. It's just not for a certain user or a certain type of equipment that's got to be used. So if you have a smartphone, you can use this app. Let it be an Android, Apple. It doesn't really matter. You can actually do it on your laptop as well, tablets, iPad, whatever. Wherever you can have access to the internet, you can use it. Now, the way this works, it really allows the community to again, engage other community members. I don't know if you can see this slide. It's a little bit, from this distance, either I need glasses or it's blurry. Most likely I need glasses, right? So here we have an example that happened on January 31st. This was an individual that was knocking on neighbors' doors and acting rather strangely. So we immediately put this information out to our officers. And it really took a day before we can actually locate him, but at least we found him, we talked to them, and we were able to give feedback to the community. As you see on the lower portion of that screen to the right, that's kind of like me telling the community at what time we went out there, what we did, and pretty much giving them a number, a contact where they can call. And then you see on the upper portion of that paragraph, that's Agent Diaz responding that we actually found the individual at the time we found him, and pretty much what we did, which was pretty much letting him know that he wasn't welcome and that, that his actions were not welcome. So that was good, because I think the community wants to see us addressing these issues. I think that's a problem that we're all facing. It's really a nationwide problem. There's a lot of individuals going out there looking for unlocked cars, unlocked doors, stuff like that, and this is our way of addressing this. Now, we can also put posts out there that help the community. So what we're doing, this is what we call the 9 p.m. routine, and we're going to start putting this out as a reminder, especially on the weekends, of what to do, to make their house and vehicle safe. And this is it's just a really friendly reminder. It talks about, reporting suspicious activity. Again, we put the phone number where they can do so. And as you see, we just put some on the right side here of the screen. There's some, thank yous from the community. We thank you, great reminder. So we're seeing good engagement there. The other announcement we did, and this is just a sample, we've done others. As we were getting ready to put some temporary stop signs out there on Cesar Chavez, we actually let the community know, hey, there's a temporary stop sign here, so a reminder. So people actually engaged us there. And as you can see, I'll read the top one from neighbor 23. And the good part, this is confidential. The neighbors don't have to say who they are unless they choose to reveal themselves to the police department. That is, if they want to provide any further information or anything like that. So you see there a comment from neighbor 23. It's, nice effort, Brawley. And just people making comments, thanking us for what we're doing there with the community.
They stole the stop sign?
Yes, they did.
Individuals stole the temporary
They
stop
stole the
sign?
temporary stop sign.
Yes, they did, so.
That's always
It's in
comforting.
some teenager's bedroom.
That's always comforting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you gonna put a stop to that, huh?
Yeah.
We're trying to put a stop to that through this system.
With another sign.
Another sign, we'll put another sign.
How long
Now,
does the statute of limitations run on stealing stop signs?
well, that depends on the value of the stop sign, right?
Sam's asking for a
You have some very expensive stop
I'm
signs
asking
out
for a
there.
friend.
Right?
Now,
Yeah.
the good part about the systems, I think, is really getting some traction. People are, and again, if you go through the comments that people have left, they're pretty amazing. A lot of people are engaging. I'll read this comment from neighbor 59. Hopefully, our neighbors are listening. It says, I'm not sure what changes have been made to Brawley PD or at the city leadership level, but you guys are making great progress. Thank you for keeping the community updated. Great job. Keep it going.
Good.
So I think that's great. I think the community is acknowledging. And of course, neighbor 34 also makes some comments there about the stop signs that we're doing, thanking us, for keeping them safe. And again, you can go through some of these
Yeah.
comments and
And
they're
they
actually.
provide feedback too, which is good, you know what I
Feedback is
mean?
always-
With
Yes.
respect to like other areas. and things like
Exactly,
that.
and that's the idea. We're engaging,
It's
the
more
community,
immediate, uh-huh.
and we're actually anything comes up. I mean, we actually put some notices out there. We'll put like part of a video or photographs of thefts that occur in some of our, stores and stuff like that. And we're actually asking the community to help us identify individuals and things like that. Now, you see the next screen. This is a snapshot on how it looks in our city and who's providing feedback and who's making comments. As you see, we got a great portion here of the community that's very involved in this system. And of course, on our right side, it seems like we're lacking involvement there for now. But we are making efforts to reach out to that section of the community and letting them know that this system is out there and it's available. I believe some of them been pretty positive once we show them what we can do, and we're hoping that we're going to get more engagement as we move forward. Again, this is a system that has not been used in Imperial County before. We're the first ones in the county to start using it. And other cities use it, but they're using it rather differently. I think the way we're doing it should be more successful because we're going to engage the community like at 100%. We're going to make sure that they get some type
Yeah, there's a
of,
reaction and there's
Yes,
a
we're-
response. Right.
not just a reaction of telling them, hey, we're going to be out there, thanks for
Right.
letting us know, but immediate reaction to the problem.
Right.
Now, the
Responding
idea,
to it, yeah. Mhm.
yes, so the idea is to teach our community to, first of all, call us if they see any suspicious circumstances or individuals out there, and then load whatever video they have. Because what happens a lot of times is, and I think a lot of members of our community have experienced that, they're looking outside their window, they see something strange, and they call it in, and it's kind of hard to describe what they're seeing, especially the physical characteristics of an individual. So our officers are responding to a vague description, and it's kind of hard to find somebody that way. So we're hoping that will be coupled with some of the video or footage that they can get in the hopes that we can actually do better, when we go out there. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions at this time, I will definitely try to answer them.
Chief, what steps have you taken to notify the people here in the community?
Well, at this point, we're doing word of mouth. We're actually doing social media. We did a posting on Facebook as well. And we're asking some of the members of the community to also forward this, because you can actually share it from Facebook. You can share it from Neighbors platform. And we're actually also getting ready to make a push and do a walkthrough in the communities where we're noticing that there's issues happening. We're going to do walkthroughs on those blocks and go door by door. Let's say we had an incident where there were some prowlers around and, on H Street, let's just put it down. So what we're going to do, hopefully starting next week, we're going to go to that section of the community and tell them, hey, this is what we're doing now, this is the capabilities, and hopefully they will start engaging us.
And you mentioned it was an application, right?
Yes, there's actually an application, or you can actually look it up on.
I want to show the mayor real quick.
You got to show them
The governor's.
Yeah, you can actually download the application, or it's web-based. Again, you don't need a smartphone if you don't have one.
You can do it on a laptop, a tablet, I mean, anything that gives you access to the internet. Of course, the easiest way to manage this from a personal level will be the application, because it allows you to load videos rather easily.
I just downloaded it as we were speaking.
So there you go. And it actually is going to ask you to put the borders of the area that you want to be given alerts on, because you can actually expand your area. Of course, what you just saw, that's just precisely just the city of Brawley. That's what we're monitoring. And let me add something to this. Not only we're going to monitor this in dispatch, we're also going to have all the officers will have this access to the system with them at all times. So when they're out there, they should be able to get a lot of this information in real time. But again, right now we're in a training phase. We're trying to implement, so it's going to take a little bit before we can be more effective or more responsive, to this system.
As a more mature individual, where do they find the app? Is it on their actual phone, or is it in an app?
Yes,
situation?
if you go to the Apple Store,
I wouldn't say mature.
I don't have an app.
to the App Store on Apple, or what's it called, Google Play, right? I'm not too familiar with Android, so Google Play on
Google
Android.
Play, yes.
There's an
Or
application
again,
called
you can
Apps.
just go neighbors
Called apps.
on the browser, and the browser should allow you to just find a place to log in and create an access point, so.
Okay, sounds great. Because some of the people are going to need help, probably maybe loading it up, and maybe we could do some work with them too. Maybe we could do some kind of tutorial or something.
Yes, our hope is to create a video with a tutorial. We're actually, we were just talking about it today. We're hoping that we can create that so we can actually present it to the community that way. A lot of times everybody's so used to seeing YouTube videos, right? And how do I do it? So
Yeah.
we're hoping that we can do that and introduce this system that way so people get more familiar. And again, our number's always open. If anybody wants help, anybody that's watching right now and says, you know what, I want to know how to do this, they can call that business line and we'll be happy to walk them
Through
through.
it, yeah. That sounds great, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
I just had a question.
Sure.
Yeah. So my name is Isabel
Why
Solis.
don't you come up and the mic and ask the question?
Isabel Solis, 1135 Appleway. I was just wondering, is the app available in other languages?
That's a good question.
Because that, if you are
don't
missing
know.
an area of the community, it could be a language barrier. And I think we need to be cognizant of that. I know in our public school system, we have to always be very vigilant about that because we don't want to exclude anybody. We want to be equitable and we want to provide access as much as possible.
I don't think we control the app though, Chief, but I think it's something maybe to address with the.
No,
Mayor, it says here
again,
it's available in English, Dutch, French, German, Italian, and Spanish.
Okay, so it is available. So
Yeah.
Then maybe we
that's
can
the
promote that as
Thank you.
well.
But I appreciate that, and that's the
Well,
kind of
that's a good
feedback
question.
that we're looking for as police department. Because a lot of times they don't tell us, and if you don't tell us, the public doesn't tell us, a lot of times, we're moving fast and we don't see that, so I do appreciate your comment.
Sounds
Because
good.
remember, if it's important to you, it's important to us, so we want to know your concern.
That's a good point.
And there's some teachers out here that we would be willing to help you with doing the videos. I mean, we created videos for our parents, for our teachers during distance learning, and we have no problem doing that. Because we know that there are people who will need that extra support to utilize that.
So if you need help, Chief, you know who to get in touch with.
We have a volunteer right here.
Yes, there's a volunteer. All right.
So,
Okay, thank you, Chief, very
Thank you,
much.
Chief. Good job.
And you're also going around to service clubs, and you'll do a presentation to them, and you're going to do one for me tomorrow for Rotary.
yes, we're going to try to reach out as many people as we can in different places, definitely, going to the service clubs, nonprofits, wherever we can. So we're going to try to do a good push, but right now, again, we're just starting, but I wanted to show it to the council to let you know what we're doing within our community.
Chief, can I ask a question with respect to, privacy and other things? Is there any concern with maybe, people filming things and posting it that maybe is inappropriate or
Well,
anything like that?
this is the thing, the parent company that runs this is actually Amazon, so they're filtering everything that gets posted. So
Okay.
we don't have to do that part. That's the beauty of this. Now, every comment that is posted, as you notice, there's no names, but you have to provide real information to the parent company.
Right.
So they have to vet who
Right,
you
they're
are
vetted,
before they allow you to
Right.
post things, and
So
that's
there are
to
some
avoid-
measures of control.
There is. I mean, again, this is done by them, which actually saves us time and money. We don't have to go through those. So that's why I really like this system. And it's a system that's been around since 2018. It's just nobody has used it in the valley, so we're the first ones to use it. So it's a proven system. It has a track record.
So it's not something that's just coming up.
And in technology years, that's like, 50 years, you know what I mean? So it's like-
Exactly. No, and it's gotten better. If
Yeah.
you were to see the first version, because I remember seeing this system back when it first opened. If you were to compare the first version to what they have now, and they ran into issues like the ones you're talking about, somebody who want to post something not
Yeah.
inappropriate, stuff like that, weird stuff like that. But now the way they have some of these algorithms, it just cleans that up. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm not a computer tech, but based on what I'm seeing, that's what they're doing.
Good. All right, well, thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item number, if there's no other public presentations or announcements, we'll move to item number 3, which is the consent agenda, and
I'll make a motion to approve the consent as written.
okay, have a motion.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Okay, now then we'll go to item number 4, which is the city manager report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have just one announcement on the service that ICTC, or the Imperial County Transportation Commission, offers, the free fare program. It's been around since August 2020, and the Mayor Pro Tem has touted on numerous occasions. It's a state grant funded and also fare contributions by the County of Imperial Area Agency for Aging. I said that right. Unfortunately, that program, grant funding is coming to an end. It's been almost fully allocated, so as of March 31st, 2022, that free fare program is going away. ICTC staff is looking to try to find other grant funding and bring that back at a later time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now we'll go to item number 5, which is regular business, and we have an update by the City of Brawley declaration of local emergency as a result of COVID-19 pandemic by Mike York, the fire chief. Let's wait a moment till he, there he is. Okay, Mike, how are you?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and City staff. Mike York, Fire Chief of the City of Brawley. A brief update for the COVID-19 situation. What we're seeing from our last report is all of our numbers are down. Very positive news. We still have quite a few persons in our valley suffering from COVID. We've reported a few more deaths than from the last report. So our last tier metrics, we were looking at 264 people per 100,000. We are down to 90, so very good news. Last report on 2/1, we had 4,200 active cases in the Imperial Valley, and right now we have 1,100. So this is all good news. We're very thankful that we're hoping to see the end of this surge. Within our variant data, as normal, we're seeing Delta variant cases are starting to taper off, and we're seeing more recordings of the Omicron variant. And the only other major news as of today is that the health order that was put in place on December 15th expires this evening. So the universal indoor masking requirement ends tomorrow. However, that's depending on your vaccination status. Persons that are unvaccinated or that are vaccinated but booster eligible should still wear their masks indoors. Most areas are allowed for self-attestation. And of course, there are some areas that will still require universal masking, such as healthcare, long-term healthcare facilities, nursing homes, and public transit. If there are any questions or data that the council would like me to pursue, I will do my best to answer those or find for next meeting.
The schools should still have the mask requirement, is that right, Chief York?
That is correct. Healthcare, education.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Any questions from the public? If not, we'll move to item 5B, which is discussion, thank you, Chief. B, discussion and potential action to approve Best Step Forward's request for cattle call park closure and waiver of the $500 closure fee for their second soapbox derby event presented by Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager.
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. Best Step Forward submitted an application to hold a second soapbox derby event at Catacall Park on Saturday, March 5th between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. It will follow the same layout, parking, and traffic restrictions as the first event, but the only difference is the vendors will be located on the tier instead of down in Rotary Park. Police and fire will still be in attendance, but will remain on duty. The Catacall Committee has approved the event, and Best Step Forward will not be profiting from the event, and they are asking for permission to close the park once again, and for council to waive the $500 park closure fee. Jackie with Best Step Forward is online for any questions that council may have regarding the event.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Is that closure for the whole entire park, right?
That's correct.
Nobody can walk, nobody can, well, they can
They
come
can
down and
walk in,
spectate, but they,
Yes.
but they can't drive down there, and then they can't, and then they wouldn't be able to utilize the park for any other purpose, right, at that point?
Once the event starts, the road will be closed and no one will be able to enter.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. We just need to get the word out to people so they know that for that day, because it's gonna be very important, because some people will be coming down there probably. They won't get the word, so let's try to see if we can do that.
Or traffic stuck down at the bottom.
Maybe a Facebook announcement on our website, those kind of things, yeah.
Yeah, we could ask, maybe, Best Step to post something about the upcoming event there in that area, especially for those folks that are down there at the bottom of the park, to let them know that they're gonna need to be out by 11 if they wanna get their vehicles out before, 4 PM.
Okay.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, my only issue, I think the big issue, though, is the waiver of the 500,
I
right?
think that's the biggest
And
issue.
my only, if I can recall the last time this came up, it was kind of a first-time event, and if I can recall, it was kind of in the warm time of the year, right? I don't know. why.
In August.
So it was kind of the time of the year the park, gets utilized, et cetera. So I think, if I can recall, I thought there was some language we used as a council that this was kind of an exception to help this event get sort of up and running, and I know it's probably for a good cause, but we really have to be mindful of all of our other users
Correct.
of city facilities that do pay the fee.
Because there's a request immediately following that isn't requesting the fee waiver, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and to me, again, I still think all things considered, including, public safety, closure, Parks and Rec, your department, certainly, everything costs money, so I'm sure it costs more than $500. So I still have a little issue. I think you can do a little fundraising, or, I'm not trying to preach at, any particular group, but I would just have an issue with that for a second time, coming back again with the waiver. And it's more consideration for the other user groups, too. It's not so much this
Right,
particular
because when we
event.
make an exception for one, it kind of puts us in a position to have to make exceptions for all. I think this is a good cause, and I don't have any problem with them utilizing the facility. I'm just concerned about waiving the entire fee, and, maybe they could work together with us on that in some way. And that's for March 5th. And it always seems to kind of come to us, too. Their request comes to us a little bit later, and then we're kind of in a bind to try to get any kind of negotiation with them, within the timeframes that they have in order to get the approval. So, that would be the only concern. And I have the same concern that Donnie has. When we set a precedent, it seems like that we need to be consistent about that. Now, that's into consideration that, like the next event, they're probably going to generate more revenue, just because of the nature of the event and, sale of alcohol or whatever. So they're going to generate more revenue than this will, but they still need to be cognizant that we do, in many ways, we're eventually going to have to charge fees. And so I think that's just part of the whole process.
We also did discuss that at the very least that we'd be included as sponsors of the event, in a way that the city's involved, and that's how, we support that event. But we did just waive it also for the chamber. We waived it without asking questions, and I had no problem with it. This is a much smaller organization. They're trying to grow. They have very limited funds, and they serve a segment of the population that's often ignored, and we're talking about autistic children. So I think it depends, and we should have the ability to weigh depending on who comes in front of us. If we're having a big party downtown where there's going to be a lot of beer sold and they're going to make a lot of money, then yeah, pay your fees. But these are little kids, I have no problem waiving their fee. And if we vote it down today, I'll contribute $100 out of pocket to help out with their fee at the very least. So that's where I'm at.
Any other discussion?
No, just I know that we discussed it previously, and there was a waiver previously. Even if it may be a reduced fee, that would be maybe more of a way to compromise that. And so that would be, something, I mean, I agree that there could be some consideration for maybe smaller organizations, and there is some cost, but there is a tremendous amount of cost for the city as well. We cannot forget
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and so, and we have for years, I mean, we did work very hard, and it was a long process to make sure that we did have what we felt were, we made a step in making sure that we are charging for road closures. You know how expensive those can be. They're thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So it's not just $500.
Yeah.
These are thousands of dollars that it's costing the city. So I think there could be some consideration, even if it's not the $500, but just a token, quite frankly, of good faith too.
Yep.
I mean, it is work, so.
Do I have permission to speak? This is Jackie Riddell.
Forgot she was there.
Sure.
Yeah, and my name's Jackie Riddell. I don't have my camera on because, to be quite honest with you guys don't want to see me right now. Allergies have won today. I want to thank you all for having me here today. I wish I was in person, but to be quite honest with you, I'm sneezing like crazy, and let's face it, this is not a good time to be sneezing, with COVID. I just want to say that Best Step Forward is a very small organization providing opportunities for a very large demographic here in Imperial County. And there's not a single person in my team, to include myself, that gets paid for all of the activities that we offer. We are 100% volunteer. We are parents that are living the journey. I've had opportunities to meet Hamby, and quite a few of you guys are right there on the panel. I can't even.
She forgot my name. You forgot my name. That's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want everybody to know right now that yes, we do have hopes that this could grow into something that could stay in Brawley. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and from what we've seen in the first run that we had, it was considered our pilot run. We've seen something unlike you've never seen before. You're talking about grandparents and parents and children uniting, crafting, from metalwork to woodwork, and we're all figuring it out together as a team unit. And nobody made money off of this. Not Best Step Forward, not nothing. If anything, we probably put in about $8,000 of our own general funds to create the soapboxes. So the kids don't pay for any of these activities. The parents do not pay an entry fee. We do not get sponsored for any of these activities. This is just us hustling and figuring it out. We do not do the beer gardens. We are not selling anything on location. And I have to say, it was in August. It was very warm day, but we ended up with like about 100 spectators that day, and not a single person was disappointed. It was just a fun-filled day. Traffic that needed to go in and out, we managed it nice and smoothly. We had no visitors that were upset that they couldn't go in and out through their vehicles. Yes, public safety was there, which was utilizing your guys' resources, but it was utilizing your resources during downtime. It wasn't like they were getting pulled away from the 911 system.
There's never downtime. There's never downtime, so, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You understand what I come from the 911 world. I'm a retired paramedic for 10 years. I served Imperial County. I worked alongside with Mike York and many, of these now chiefs. I should have been there, but I hung up my towel to dedicate myself to advocate for my child who has autism, and they're friends. And now we serve about 250 kids. So I just wanted to just kind of express that nobody's making money out of this. Eventually, I think that this is going to be an opportunity to grow large in scale, and we foresee it to turn into something as Imperial County's Red Bull Soapbox Derby, and it could turn into something really neat. But again, we're still at the pilot run stages of everything. We just purchased brand new steering mechanisms for all 8 of our soapboxes that we built. And so the second run would honestly be more so to try to test the new systems that we implemented into all 8 racers. So I don't know if you have any questions to ask. I'm more than happy to try to answer to the best of my.
Yeah, Jackie, Councilmember Donnie Wharton, I wanted to make clear, it was certainly not in any way, shape, or form directed specifically at the wonderful work. And I remember that from the first presentation, and so very excited that you've come this far in a very short period of time, and more to go. And by the way, Councilmember Castro stole my line.
Yeah, I was going to say that, by the way.
I'm the
that
one
was
that
his
said I'm going to put up $100 toward your fee.
So am I. I mean,
Yeah,
I should have said it
now-
like that.
So there's 200. So, but I I hope you understand the point that I was trying to make, and I think Mayor Pro Tem Nava was making, is we have to be mindful of all of our groups that all do wonderful work in the community as well. So that was my only point.
Absolutely, and I do want to share this, that you guys have been absolutely amazing at always loaning me space, whether it's for soccer, dance, baseball. I've always been more than happy to pay the facility use, and I've been doing that for about 4 years now, whether I use the conference room at the Lions Center, I've paid for that, the lighting for use at LSG Park. I've always gone to you guys, and you guys have always been amazing at offering me space, and being very helpful and supportive of our community. So I do thank you guys for that. I just want to know that you guys honestly, like, out of all the cities that I've worked with, you guys were always the first ones to say yes when it came to me providing my sports when we were just barely starting everything. So I do appreciate that.
I just want to say, Councilmember Warren, I just didn't want to put, like, say you're going to give $100 without you saying it first, right? Like,
I did say that, yeah.
But he did say it first. That was his suggestion. I just didn't want to put him on the spot and then make him give up $100.
But you did.
But I did. So we'll support you either way, even if we approve it or not today. We'll throw in another $100, and at least I will, and then to help support your efforts. And I'm Councilmember Castro, by the way, just in case since you forgot my name already.
I think I've seen you around.
Yeah, a few places. Okay.
I do appreciate your guys' support, though. Thank you so much.
Any comments from the public? Any more comments from anything, anybody? What's the council's pleasure on this item?
You haven't said anything.
No,
Councilmember Hamby.
you all make good points, and I know that in times past when we've struggled financially, it was always our goal to try to reach toward cost recovery for anyone asking for facilities uses, and for sure the resources that we do put out it far exceeds whatever we're asking for. So I agree with what Councilmember Wharton had to say about it.
Okay. The only suggestion I might make is that say we waive the fee this year, and we do encourage them in the next year that they will probably have to pay a fee. It may be a reduced fee at that point in time, but say we waive the fee this year, this is their second time. I know they're I think they're struggling to do this, and so it is something that I think some of the more established organizations, maybe they don't necessarily need that kind of help. But I think if we waive the fee this time, I think we need to make it clear to them that on the third time they come to request, we're probably going to request some type of fee. It may not be the $500, but there will be a fee involved. And whether they get that from sponsors or whether we put that up as individual council members or whatever out of our own funds, we can talk about that. But I think for this time, what I would like to do is let them waive it this time. But with the proviso that in future activities, they will be charged a fee, and we'll establish some type of fee for them at that point in time.
I think it was Councilmember Castro that mentioned something about sponsorship or city logos being on, at the site one way or another, whether it's on the cars themselves or on signage around, but as if we're donating.
We are. And that's
yeah.
typically how we get around things. So whenever there is that exchange, the expectation is that we would be a sponsor, and that would be, essentially the waiver of the fee would be that. But
and they would identify the city as a sponsor.
Right.
And
Yeah, and I think going forward, any event where they ask us to waive these fees, and if we decide to approve it, it should be as a sponsorship.
That's generally
We are a
the
partner.
case. That's generally the case.
that's generally.
I see that with the chamber, our logo is on
that's
their
generally the
materials,
case.
so
Right.
don't know how we can make that happen for this
Yep.
event, but if we waive
I
the fee,
think
I'd
we
like to
asked
see
for
that.
that as part of the motion.
Okay.
But I see everybody's point of view. I mean, I'm of the believer, I know that we've battled this for years. It's not, and I know COVID has thrown a wrench in a bunch of stuff, so we've made some exceptions because of that. But certainly I would, I agree in the fact that let's try and help. But we certainly can't do that in perpetuity. We can't do that
Right.
forever, you know, so.
And I think this organization in particular, and organizations like it, have a good opportunity for fundraising just because of the community they serve, and that,
Right.
you know,
Right, absolutely. I think there is that opportunity. So.
people are willing to donate toward.
But at least we put so much thought into it too, so.
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
it's like-
yeah. Well, if there's no more discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5B. Approve Best Step Forward's request for Catacall Park closure and waive the fee, with the, obviously.
Inclusion of the
inclusion
sponsorship.
Of the sponsorship, correct.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
Look forward to
Okay.
being to that event. I want to see it myself.
Okay. Is Jackie still on?
Yes, I'm on.
Jack-
I want to say thank you. I do want to say, I believe in my initial proposal, in August, well, earlier than that, but I did mention that I would love for you to have you all considered sponsors of these events because it is hosted in your city. Again, I always need permission to use your city seal. I can't just blast it on everything, you know, I hear that's not exactly appropriate. So with all your permission, of course, I would love to actually place you guys as sponsors of the event.
Yes, and Jackie, I would ask that you approach the Doves organization because they have some funding available for good causes, for local programs and charitable organizations and stuff. And if you would approach them, I think this year you might have a chance of receiving some funding from them. And that's not necessarily to pay these fees, but it's just to help your program in moving forward. So if you would look into that, please, for me.
Yes, will do, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate the support and the advice.
Okay.
It was interesting. I went and visited. We dropped off some soil and stuff. They were getting ripped off. They ripped off the plants that the kids are growing in the backyard and some of the soil. It's
That happens
weird.
too.
But anyways.
You'd be surprised.
That's how I learned about this.
Okay.
program.
Thank you. Moving forward, item number 5C, discussion potential action to approve the sale and consumption of alcohol on city property, specifically Plaza Park and Main Street, on April the 2nd, 2022, from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. for the Cesar Chavez celebration presented by Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. Rachel?
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. Mr. Eric Reyes submitted a request to hold his annual Cesar Chavez celebration for the community on Saturday, April 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The event will include a car show, music, and vendors. Mr. Reyes is requesting a street closure between North and South Plaza from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. and to sell alcohol between 12 p.m. and 10 p.m. Alcohol sales would cease at 10 p.m. and consumption at 11 p.m. Mr. Reyes will be paying the street closure fee, and Republic will provide 3 6-yard trash bins per city's contract at no charge. Mr. Reyes, as well as George Taylor with Republic Services, are here for any questions that council may have regarding the event.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
You want to come up and say anything, Mr. Reyes? Yeah. I have a suggestion. Can you get with Jackie next year so she can do your layout? Hers is much better than yours.
I failed art.
All right.
Oh,
Go
good
ahead.
to meet the gentleman from Republic, as someone new, so nice to meet you, sir. They've always been great partners, you know, so we appreciate that. As I was telling Rachel that there's no way I can fit all the trash, and we do a good job, I feel, of picking up our trash. We take pride in that because we want it to be brought back all the time. But with those 2 bins only, one time somebody went through always looking for cans or something, and we kind of got faulted. It wasn't us, so we're very happy the Republic is doing that for us, gives us plenty of space. But yeah, and I believe, you know, we always pay our $500 fee. I think you spend a lot more than that on the event, so we appreciate it. And if we can make that $500 back somehow, we appreciate it. And if you want to give me $100 too, that's no problem.
I figured
I
there
will
was
give
no
you
problem.
plenty when I'm there.
I know Mr. Nava's already sponsoring,
Yeah,
so.
I've already sponsored, so.
Yeah, but
I'll
he's
give
got,
that.
he's got the big bucks, you know, the brokerage. But, yeah, it's a great event. I want to do it this year because, you know, obviously everything that's happened, and we were intricately involved, our organization, in mass dispensing and vaccine for most underserved. We would do vaccines at 2, 3 in the morning on the streets and in Calexico with farm workers, and we would go out to homeless people, and we helped and all that. But at some point, you have to get back into your life we're getting to a point of acceptance of what we have to be with the ongoing virus. That's never going to go away, right? So these events are good for the community. They look forward to it, and we have always had an excellent support from the city, from all the way through from the city council to city staff, the fire department, the police department, and we welcome them. I remember I went to a meeting and the Lieutenant Hauser was saying, "Do you want us there?" Yeah, we want a presence because we want to make sure everyone knows it's a community event. You do your walkthroughs. I know you're limited on staff, but he goes, they're limited. I said, I understand. They're not going to stand around. No, that's fine, but should have your presence there, that it's a dignified family event. So I thank you all, as always, for your support as always, and I hope I'll get the invitation out to you guys to be there as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I think we've had this event for quite a few years running. I don't know that there's a problem with it at all, and so.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the item.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just had one question. That 10 a.m. start time for alcohol sales, is that, I'm just trying to remember if I've heard that before.
12 p.m., I think.
It's 12
12
p.m.
p.m. is when they're starting?
12 p.m.
Not
to
10.
10
When they're
p.m.
starting, okay, all right.
12 to 10.
The actual event is from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.,
Okay.
and the alcohol will be from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
And I think that's been the norm for most of our events, like cattle call events and everything.
And this is just for the alcohol sales, this is what this approval is for, not for the actual event, street closures and that kind of stuff?
I think it's a street closure.
Yeah,
too,
or it's
right?
for the closure.
Item 1A and B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's for both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
so
the
you have
backup.
item 1A, which is to close Main Street between North and South Plaza during the hours of 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday to hold the celebration. And then item 1B, permission to sell alcohol between the hours of 12 p.m. to 10 p.m.
It just isn't enunciated on the
Okay.
agenda, but it's in the backup.
Okay, all right. We're gonna vote on those separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can vote on those separately if you'd like, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
let's do
item
that.
1A and item 1B.
Yeah, let's do that, please.
Okay, then,
You have to
We
take
can do that.
motion back.
Okay, so would you like to?
let me
Take your-
retract my motion, and I will restate it.
I'll retract my second.
Thank you.
Page
Yeah,
25.
Page 25. All right. So, item 1A, close Main Street between North and South Plaza during the hours of 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, April 2nd, to hold the Cesar Chavez celebration. I'll make a motion to approve that item. That's 1A.
Second.
And I have a second. So all those in favor of that?
Aye. And for 1B, I'll make a motion to approve permission to sell alcohol between the hours of 12 p.m. through 10 p.m., alcohol sales to cease at 10 p.m., and consumption to cease at 11 p.m.
Second.
And I have a second on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Those opposed? Nay?
Thank you.
Okay, so both motion carried.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Look forward to it. What's the date on that? April 2nd.
Okay, so now we go to item 5D, discussion and potential action to approve insurance waiver and any associated cleaning deposit for mobile consulate services at the Brawley, Maine Branch Library on February the 26th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the request of the Mexican Consulate, presented by Desi and Rachel. Got it.
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager, and Desiderio Rodriguez, Library Manager. Staff received a request to co-sponsor a mobile consulate event at the main library on Saturday, February 26th, between the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mobile Consulate provides assistance with passports, IDs, birth certificates, etc. The city has co-sponsored a similar event in the past with the consulate that was very successful, and the applicant is requesting the city to co-sponsor the event once again and to waive the insurance and cleaning deposit requirements. Mario Beltran with the consulate is, I believe, on Zoom, if there are any questions council may have.
Mr. Mayor, I know we've approved this item in the past.
Yes, we
And it's
have.
been successful, and it helps our residents. And if there are no questions, I would like to make a motion to approve the item.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions for the gentleman online? No? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
actually
you.
be there this time. I need some assistance, so I'll be there as well. Yeah, thank you.
Well, happy to have you there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5E, discussion and potential action to approve the training request for school resource officer Sixto Martinez to
Moreno.
attend, Moreno, I'm sorry, Moreno to attend the Basic School Resource Officer School at Ruidoso, New Mexico, presented by Jimmy Duran, Chief of Police. Could he get more
Doesn't get any more
tongue
ridiculous.
twisting than that? I like.
Just say it in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right, you just said it in Spanish, brother, you got it.
How do you say it?
wanna hear it.
How do you say it in Spanish?
Moreno.
Go ahead.
Well, good evening
Go ahead,
once
Chief.
again, members of the council, city manager, staff, and public. So as our mayor was saying, we are requesting approval for training for our SRO, which is Sixto Moreno. As you know, a few months ago, we ended up accepting the COPS grant, which allowed us to finally assign an SRO to the school. But part of the requirements of the grant are that we sent our SRO to this particular training. It's held in different parts of the country. And this is the closest one that we were able to find was New Mexico. I mean, we were hoping to find one in California. Unfortunately, we couldn't. So that's why we're requesting permission to send them. Again, the SRO is required to go to this training within 6 months of appointment or assignment to the school. And the cost for this, the total cost is going to be $1,771.92. And again, this fits completely in our training budget that has been allocated for yearly expenses.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the item.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also make a motion to approve item F.
Item F, okay.
I'll second it.
This is discussion and potential action to approve the training request for Police Chief Jimmy Duran and Police Commander Jonathan Blackstone to attend the California Gun Laws and Concealed Weapons Coordinator Conference presented by the Chief of Police. And so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Did you have a second?
Yeah.
Okay,
I got a
good.
second.
Ramon, okay, very good.
I thought it-
I think we're
Okay.
still looking.
All
for
right.
it.
So, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Got
Thank
it,
you.
Chief.
Thank
I
you.
think you didn't hear my accent on that
Sometimes
one.
it's easier like that, chief, you know? It's like-
Okay, item 5G, discussion and potential action to approve the proposed additions to the street naming requirements presented by Andrea Montano, planning technician.
Andrea, thank you for coming up. Mayor, basically, this is brought to you last meeting, and what was brought back to you was the changes that you recommended.
Correct.
In there, and so she's here to answer any questions, but other than that, we included the recommendations by the mayor.
I did read that and in red, the changes that were made, and that's very nice. Thank you very much for that.
Would you like to make a motion to approve, Mr. Mayor?
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposed additions to the street naming requirements.
Second motion.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
In the fine print,
I know.
in the fine print, if you didn't read it,
We know.
it says, the next street will be named Sam Couchman Drive.
That was the
I kind of, the only thing I would like to see, it says Governor Couchman.
Governor Couch,
And I
Governor
don't have to-
Couchman
the
Street,
gov-
is that,
the
or
gov-
Avenue, or is that what you? Yeah, yeah, sure.
I thought it was El Guapo Drive.
There you go.
El Guapo Drive, yeah.
And then like with a writer on the
It'll
sign
probably be
that
a
says, it's a
cul-de-sac.
sweater. You know what I mean? There has to be a writer on the sign that says it's a sweater.
The El Guapo cul-de-sac, I think
Huh?
is what's gonna
Right?
happen right there. I can see that now. Okay, guys, okay. Okay. Okay, now then, we'll do 5H, which is discussion and potential action to award a body-worn camera services contract to Lens Lock and authorize the city manager to execute the contract presented by Jimmy Duran, Chief of Police. I don't know why they didn't put that one in with the
Should have
other
just
one.
put you back to back to back, you know?
Well, they wanted to make me exercise here.
There you go.
Yes.
Sometimes
So
it's
once
just-
again, good evening. As you know, we've been working on the body-worn program for a while, actually since I got here. And a few months ago, actually, you actually authorized some funding for this purpose, which greatly appreciated. And finally, we were able to issue an RFP on December 7, 2021. So we went through the process to, to get the best equipment for our police department, because there's different companies out there, as you all know, for everything. And so we did review the companies, and this was done by a committee of police personnel, which consisted of two department managers, one supervisor. And at the end, we did choose LensLog, and that's the company we selected based on this RFP. If you look at the contract, it is a proposed 5-year fiscal year contract, which is great. And it's going to really meet all the needs that we have, you know, the 27 body-worn cameras that we're looking at, unlimited cloud base, I mean, their support. We're also getting additional interview room capabilities. So in other words, we're going to be able to mesh our interview room recording systems with this company, which is great. That way we're only using one module instead of going back and forward for storage purposes, for evidence purposes, stuff like that. It does include, of course, warranty, installation, a refresh of software and hardware for every 30 months. So I think we're actually getting a great deal. You so graciously allocated $50,000 for this project per year, and we were able to get this down to $24,867.62 a year. So I think we did pretty good based on our research. And again, there's Cadillac programs out there in software and hardware, as you know, but we believe that this fits our needs, and we're going with this program.
Very good. Okay.
Just a couple of items to add, excuse me. Our insurance authority, JPIA, has weighed in on this topic to the affirmative that it's a good idea. And we are pending a final policy, internal policy that's being reviewed with police department personnel and city manager. So there will be a written policy on how these things are going to operate and what have you. So,
any other law enforcement in the valley using them?
We're the last ones that are not using it, so it's good news for our police department, for the public. I mean, this really screams transparency to everybody, which I think we owe that to the community, to the public, and I think this just brings us up to 21st century standards. I mean, I am so grateful that you are giving us this opportunity to have this equipment.
I think it's a good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the item.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on part of the council?
Just a comment, I know we're going to vote, but
Yes, sir.
again, appreciate the work, Chief. I also know that Commander McNish, as he was assigned and kind of spearheaded the project, and appreciate the work, Commander, on this, getting it here.
Good job.
See, he stood up real quick, he's like.
I saw that.
Right away, all right, see, look.
We did not talk.
Yeah.
We did not talk,
Outstanding.
but yeah.
And he puffed his chest, too. I want to talk to him about that one later.
Okay, I think we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. And now we'll go to agenda item number 6, informational report, record of building permits for December 2021 in the city of Brawley, presented by Oscar Escalante, interim building official.
Informational.
Just informational
Information.
only, okay.
Mr. Mayor, at the last council meeting, I had requested a report. I'm hoping we can include that here in the near future, whether that's quarterly or monthly or whatever, but it's with respect to the code enforcement cases and that sort of thing, so.
The first of every month, and so the
Perfect.
first one will be around March 1st.
Perfect, thank you.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, and so we'll go to item number 7, unless there's anything else for informational? No? Okay, then we'll go to item number 7, city council member reports. And we'll start with Mr. Hamby.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a whole lot to report tonight. Over the last several weeks, haven't been a whole lot of events to attend, but I have received questions, comments from the public and about various things within Parks and Rec or to forward to PD, whether it was graffiti abatement or what have you. But all of those concerns were met quickly, and I'm just very grateful to our city staff and our city employees. As we saw on Chief Duran's presentation this evening, the Neighbors app, people are making comments about changes that have been made in our city leadership and in the way we're doing business and the way we're running the city. I mean the people that are actually the boots on the ground, and and most of that is positive feedback that I'm getting, and I'm just very grateful for the changes that we were able to help enact and the leadership that's in place, because positive changes are happening in Brawley. I think that was clear throughout the past year and a half or so, and we're just really happy to see that. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ward?
Mr. Mayor, likewise, in and of events and things like that, not a lot since our last meeting. Looking forward, I think many of these things are starting to come up as we talked about tonight, so looking forward to that. The only thing I'll just echo and add similar comments I wanted to share. I think there are certain topics, as I think our Mayor Pro Tem just mentioned, even some of the code enforcement items that are kind of no-win situations, even from a council member's perspective, meaning you can never do enough, per se, and these are at times, very challenging, vexing issues, problems, social problems, whether it is dealing with crime or dealing with homelessness. But I do want to point out some of the input I am getting from the same concerned, community members that I think the work is being noticed. Again, not perfect, but I think we're going to continue, like anything, keep the effort up. But I do want to laud, I think our police chief and his relatively new command staff have really taken an aggressive, proactive approach, and I think that's what's being noticed there. And that also carries over to many of our other departments that are really there to support that and helping that, including building, code enforcement, et cetera. So appreciate that from, also I want to direct that at our city manager. So we'll have to keep up the fight, but appreciate the work. It's being noticed.
I think so. Mr. Castro?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just kind of want to hope everybody had a happy Valentine's Day, and I hope everyone has a happy President's Day. I just want to report that I had to call 911 this past Saturday. I probably should have called the business line, not 911, but we were having a break-in. There was a gentleman running around my neighborhood just breaking in, just going into cars, and I was able to find him. I obviously didn't catch him, but the officers responded very quickly. They introduced me to this neighborhood program. I thought it was fantastic. So great idea, and they're so good at their job, and I was able to tell my story, and obviously made them laugh a little bit. But I'm just very happy to see how it's coming about. I do feel that there seems to be a change in morale in the city from our police department all the way to the groundskeepers and whatnot. And I was discussing with Armando earlier, and I think this is in large part to the decision that this council made in regards to the utility tax and eliminating that sunset. Because it was scary for them every 2 years, every 3 years to have to face this and look at the possibility of the positions being eliminated. So it has made a huge change in morale. People can now go on. They know that the budget is going to be stable. They know that we're going to be able to get things done, and they're not going to lose their job tomorrow or the next year or the year after. So, so just seeing that, and great job by our city manager and everyone else here. I'm just very happy. Every time I go out and talk to people around the city, it's good. It's getting better and better and better. And so, and lastly, I saw an article about your mother, Councilmember Hemby, and just saying what a great article, what a great family, and she's just such a great human being. And I like to see stuff like that.
Thank you.
It's good to see that, and it's good for the world in general. So, congratulations to you to have been so lucky to have such a great mother.
Yeah.
So, and
Very
father.
lucky.
I've met your dad as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Just staying very busy professionally, engaged with the public as well, of course. But I was actually able to have my staff out at the Marty Coyne development. There was, a lot of interest in the housing. Rates are going up, unfortunately, but and that will impact, sales really nationwide. But people are still buying, and it's still improving. And I really got to walk the area, and it is a big improvement. People are happy. There's a lot of people that have moved into that development, and it's making a big improvement in the area. So they're excited about that. It's also exciting to see the grocery outlet, coming together, and that's just it's a great start to many things. There's been a lot of positive commentary about what's taking place in Brawley, and I'm starting to see it myself. So. It's just been a long time in the making. It hasn't been overnight, I know that. And so with respect to some of the comments I heard earlier, that, morale and things are changing, yes, certainly. I think that it is, not just within the city and the staff, but the perception of the public on city services and the city staff. So that helps. I think so. And so I've had some interactions with the finance department recently, and they've been positive. I had some people go in to turn on utilities because they purchased, and so they've been able to be serviced by the city staff, and it's been a good thing. I mean, you have people buying homes and becoming homeowners, and, you know, in fact, right before I got here, there was one that closed out. And so it's just, that's another resident taking up another vacant property, and it's just good to see. So it's been interesting. It's been active, and I'm happy to see that, you know, I'm starting to see more and more activity in the business sense. I did get approached about a couple buildings in downtown Brawley, and maybe we have a potential buyer for some of those empty spaces. And, you know, they're looking to build a business. So that's also very positive for all of us, you know. So just happy to see things moving forward in the city. Happy to see the different departments, such as the police department, taking charge of, you know, some of the things that we haven't been part of before. So those are all really great things. That's what our leadership is, you know, there for, and that's what we do as leaders, and that's what our staff does as leaders. And, you know, we have a good team of people that we formed, and now we're starting to see the benefits of it. Yep. You hire good quality people, and you're going to get good quality results. I mean, it's simple as that. Yep. You know, so anyway, that's my comments for the evening. Do want to thank the public for tuning in, and I think there's a lot to be proud of in our community. It's not the best community in the world, but it's a great one for me. You know what I mean? So I love it. I love Brawley. You know, when people ask me, you know, where you're from, when people ask you where you're from, you don't give them your street address. You tell them I'm from Brawley, and I'm still proud of Brawley. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see where it's going. So it's all good. You know, not until recently did Luke get to say that. You know, so you know, he would say, "Where are you from?" He wouldn't even have an answer sometimes. You know, so but now he says he's from Brawley, outskirts of Brawley, but still Brawley.
Show me your tattoo.
I'm a
Right?
proud,
No tattoos. No tattoos.
Brand. Show me your brand.
Right? But thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. Just a couple of things. I had I was able to view the fire the other day at the abandoned apartment building. The fire department, I commended them on it. They did a fantastic job. The police department was there. They did their job. I was able to watch the fire, their firefighting abilities and what they did there, and the public also came by. And there was a lot of spectators, et cetera, over there, and it was a bad fire. And I thought the city staff did a fine job in terms of knocking that down and getting it all down. The roof collapsed, the palm trees blazed up, and they were able to put all that down, and I don't think anyone got hurt, and I don't think any other structures were damaged in that immediate area. So they were able to bring that very quickly under control, and so I watched most of that. And I thought the police and fire both did a fine job there. And then city staff were also involved. I think the street people were involved a little bit in terms of blocking some of the streets and things, and so that was a good job. Also, just to mention, we lost a Brawley resident, former Sheriff Orrin Fox, the other day, and I think we'd be remiss in not mentioning him and what a part he played in Brawley over the years, and what a part he played for the County Sheriff's Department, the National Guard, and all of that. And so just in recognition of him, I just mentioned his passing because he passed a few days ago. And I think there are going to be some services for him in the first part of March. And so we might want to have some presence there on the part of the city. Pioneer Days, I was able to go out and help my sons and one of their friends with the blacksmith shop at the Pioneers Museum. We had several branding irons. We were able to let the kids brand a piece of wood. Some adults also who wanted a piece of wood, we allowed them to brand that too. And we had a good time out there. One of my sons made a knife while he was out there out of a railroad spike. And so we were able to have a good time out there. Not as many people attended that, and probably due to COVID, to a large part. They did not have a sale of items, of surplus items that are donated to the museum. So probably about half attendance as a normal attendance, and there were some other things going on. But overall, it was a great day. The weather was wonderful, and the crowds did come, and the kids did come to see us do the blacksmithing. So that was a great thing. And I did also attend a concert at the Q. And the Q now requires you to wear masks when you come inside, but after that, it's pretty much whatever you prefer to do at that point in time, and especially once if you have a drink or whatever, or eating or whatever, then you don't have to wear the mask. And they had a large concert for Martina McBride, well attended, probably 800 people there.
I thought you were going to say it was Snoop Dogg or something.
No Snoop Dogg. No, that was bad enough at Sunday. That was No. So, but Martina McBride did a great job. and it
50
was
cent
great.
pen, that's
Yeah,
what-
That was a full dollar.
Yeah, that's right. So, other than that, I think everything's running well at the city. Seems like everybody's doing their job. We're getting things done. I notice a lot of things happening, and it looks like we're having some economic development. I think with the ending of, with the COVID kind of dying down a little bit, I think we're gonna see a lot of growth and development. We're getting a lot of inquiries, I think, at least initial inquiries about certain properties around town, and I think we're handling that very well. So hopefully we can continue that effort as the Mayor Pro Tem mentioned.
Yeah.
So, hopefully
And
that's good.
I will mention one more thing, Mr. Mayor. There was interest in another facility here in the city of Brawley, and I'm getting more information on that, but it's long been vacant, large facility. Hopefully that gets filled in soon too. So
That would be.
There's a few
that-
things that are popping
That
up.
would be great. There's some inquiries on the
Yeah.
west side of
Yeah.
Brawley about property there. We have the Dollar General, I think, going in next to the Man Company. And so, and I had some inquiries from Man Company regarding some issues that they're having out there. So, and I've discussed those with city staff. And so we're seeing some movement and some great things happening. I do understand someone has purchased the DMV building also. So, the old DMV building also. So that will be a positive there, I think, too. Okay, with that, we go to item number 8, the city attorney report.
So, happy to report that Building Department has assigned me 2 pending code enforcement cases. We'll be filing a nuisance abatement on one, and probably petitioning for a health and safety code receiver on another. And then I received an unsolicited phone call from a young lady that wanted to know how to respond to a nuisance abatement letter she received, and I said, well, I'm not exactly the right person. But I referred her on. Also, I had a friend ask me how to become a vendor for the city of Brawley, wasn't sure, asked Carla. She told me what to do, I told him, and he was a vendor the next day. So really fast, I was impressed how easy it was for him.
Right. Very good, very good. Okay, item number 9, city clerk report.
Just a reminder of the installation for the Bell Society.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Friday.
100th anniversary.
Are there any tickets available? Okay, I have tickets, okay, thank you. Number 10, we're going to go to closed session now. Thank you all for attending, and thank the public for tuning in online.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.